were kind of talking about you. So this is kind of almost like a story of redemption in some ways of having that.
Yeah, because my last few years, if it wasn't for Melissa, that'd really be meaningless. But then after she died, my last few years didn't exist anymore. I was missing.
Did she get sick?
Yeah, she got an infection in her leg somehow. 3 months before I took her to the doctor, her calf was hurting her. And then it got worse and worse and worse. And finally, I took her to the hospital 3 months later, and they admitted her during COVID just struck where they were cutting everything off. And so they admitted her, kicked me out of the hospital, and then her phone went dead, so she didn't contact me for 3 days. And when I called, they would not put me through to her. And within that 3 days, they amputated her leg. There was something wrong with her arteries or something. And they amputated her leg. And then we got through that. And then 6 months later, she passed away. Now, she passed away from heart attack, bad artery valve in the heart. But that probably wasn't, that could have been caused on because she did have COVID twice. But when I took her to the hospital one time when she was real sick, they said, no, she doesn't have COVID. Take her somewhere else. But so I nursed her back to health, and then went to the doctor after she got better, and they said, you had COVID. That she had COVID. She had. She's over it now. I cured her. I babied her. I nursed her back to health. Twice I did that. But I mostly have good memories of her. That's one terrible memory will never go away. But neither will the good memories will never go away.
Well, I'm glad we get to honor her today for her birthday.
Her birthday.
She seemed really special.
Yeah, she was a special athlete, and it takes a special person to be that special athlete. And she was teaching me the more discipline of working out. Where I don't know, it's hard to explain, but she was very disciplined when she worked out, way more than I was, way more than I am. But I am getting that way now. I'm getting more disciplined the way she was teaching me. With it's hard to explain with movement of the exercises and stuff. Not discipline is working out. That's easy.
The action figures, this, that. What is important?
It's not the money. It wasn't the money, and it's not the money. Important is my last impression. I don't want to be that way I wrestled last be my final statement. Or my final art, the final painting. But I just know the next one, when I'm ready for it, no matter how old I am, 60, 100, it won't matter. If I think I'm ready for it, age is only a number, or I wouldn't do it. If I can't have the gold standard of what I did before, I don't want to be one of those guys like where they say, that poor bastard, he's doing it for the money. And of course, I want to get paid. I'm not going to be a slouch on that, but I'm going to be better than the money. I'll wrestle more than they pay me. I guarantee. My wrestling will be well worth more than they pay me.
Are you worried at all about injuries?
In that match, no. I don't want to get injured now where I can't work out or it'll set me back on making a comeback. I don't want to get injured now, but I'm not scared of injuries. No. I still I walk to the gym and it grinds the fuck out of my knee. But I walk because I have to have a warm-up before I lift weights. I don't have to have a warm-up, but I want to warm up before I lift weights. Gets me in the mood, thinking about it and walking.
Yeah, I was going through some of your earlier matches and just seeing some of the bumps. When you go back and watch them, did that have a long-term impact on your body?
Yes and no. Not one bump at a time had as long as impact as I let on to be. I took a hard bump and I saw that for weeks, and really it only hurt for a few days. So I made that look worse than it was. But yeah, enough of those hurting for a couple of days add up to hurting for weeks. You know, it caught up with me, but I don't regret any bump. I just regret I didn't make enough money. But I don't regret any bumps I made. I regret some of the decisions I made, but not wrestling decisions, not wrestling maneuver decisions. I wouldn't have changed it any other way. Even if they paid me not to do what I did, I would prefer to do it my way, anyways. You know, like when I did a thing with Vince. He goes, "How can you say no to my company for a company that might not be there tomorrow?" I go, "I don't know," but he was right. I was pretty crazy to do that. He must have thought I was out of my mind.
Can you mention that quick how you were offered a job and?
Yeah, J.J. Dillon called me and said, "Vince wants you to come in and get a look at you." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll give you a tryout." And I didn't know what a tryout was. So I said, "A tryout? So does it pay?" And he goes, "Yeah, $300 a shot. We'll give you 2 shots, fly you in, wine and dine you." And I said, "Okay, I'll be there." And I came in and I wrestled Scott Taylor 1 match. And then the next day I had a meeting with Vince, and Vince said, "Boom, boom, boom. Would you like to work here?" And I go, "Nah, I already committed to somewhere else." And he goes, "How could you give, like I said, how could you give that up for someone who might not be there tomorrow?" I said, "I just can't." But anyways, what was I getting at?
Well, I think it shows that your commitment.
Before I went, I was already working for ECW and Japan, so I was already set up. And I said, out of curiosity, what would you probably do with me? He goes, "Well, we'd modify your look and give you the Iron Sheik as your uncle, your manager." And I go, "Fuck!" I just say, no, I was thinking, "Fuck, no, I'm not doing that, not for $1 million." So I said, "Okay, for sure, that's a no." But because I was already set, not set in my way, but set in the way I wanted to be, to where I didn't want to change nothing. If I changed it, I wouldn't have been me, So me being me was more important than me making money. But that was a bad decision, but I didn't know that at the time. I should have took the money. I should have said, "Fuck it. I'll be fucking Captain Crunch if you want me to." But I didn't have it in me. I wrestled for 9 years at the time, and I didn't want to change anything I wanted to change for anybody else unless I wanted to, which was a little bit wrong, but that's what I did. And I wouldn't change it. Like I said, I made a bad decision, but fuck it. Iron Sheik wasn't my uncle, wasn't my manager. I thought that was an insult. Plus, I thought he was joking. One time he said to me, "You're going to take a bump out from top rope to the table, kaboom." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I want to talk about one time I did it and I busted my ass." And I went, "That's you." And I go, "Fuck, I shouldn't have did that," because he didn't laugh. And he goes, "Well, anyways." And I go, "Oh, fuck." Because it was just a reflex saying, "Well, that's you. You busted your ass. You're not, you're Vince McMahon. You're not me." But anyways, that was a mistake. I should have said that. I take that one. I take that one. I regret that one. But okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's great. It's just the last thing to kind of close out this interview is, again, this is kind of a snapshot intro of where you're at now. Where do you want to see yourself at the end of our journey of covering your story?
I don't know. I don't think that far ahead. Other than I want another match, and that's kind of my goal. That keeps me alive for the moment. I don't know. Just got to see. I don't know. I have no predetermined. If I can live in Las Vegas till I die, that will be a blessing. I love Las Vegas. I love the weather, and I couldn't imagine living anywhere else. So if something takes me out of Las Vegas, I'll be in misery.